Hello, platforms of the world. I'm in the middle of doing my hair, so I'm sorry that I'm doing that. I just needed to get this out in reference to the conquer and divide and the social discourse that's happened. It seems that in this country, from about September, that in order to be able to do anything that involves going into a nightclub or travelling to another country, we're going to have vaccine passports. Now, whatever your opinion is on a vaccine is irrelevant, but critical thinking, engage your critical thinking here. The vaccine protects the person who's had it. That should be enough for anyone to realise that the rule that they've made up is absolutely nonsensical. But hey, we won't get into discussion about that because we're all allowed an opinion. Well, you'd think I'm not allowed an opinion unless it says the same as what the government says or the media says or an expert says, because experts are never wrong. They never have theories. Science is all theory, but experts are never wrong. The government never lies, and the media never censors anything. Now, we all know that's shit, so that's why we have a thing called being able to critically think. But it seems that the hypnosis that the population's under due to the media control and the bullshit that's been plopped out. I'm not saying that everything said on the news is bullshit, because it's not. And I'm not saying that there isn't a pandemic, you can tell by the death rate. But I'm not saying there isn't a virus out there, there is. But it's almost like it's been used for control. When loads of us were saying about, it come out of a lab years ago, or months ago, we were all cast off as being conspiracy theorists, but now it's come out of a lab. So it seems that I was a union rep once, and members of staff would come up to me and they'd go, oh, this is happening, we're not happy, rah, rah, rah. I'll go, all right, I'll bring it up at the next work time learning, we call it. So I'll bring it up at the next work time learning in front of the manager and with the other staff there, and a couple of people would interact. The people who come up to me and had the issue would bow their heads and be like this. And they're the same people that, when it gets, why am I stepping outside the box for you? I'll step outside the box for me and to protect other people and if I have an opinion, we all need to stand up for what we believe. But it seems no one will step outside the box if there's a handful of people. So if you've got the whole if you've got 75% of the population, no, you're wrong, and the other 25% of the population going, you're wrong, rah. It seems that people are more susceptible to join the bigger crowd because they're not as singled out. People have always avoided my truth posts on Facebook, and I think I've always known that. But during COVID, in the beginning, social media was really, really important to everyone because we were all on it, we were all socialising, we were all talking, we were all interacting on there because we were locked down. And then halfway through the year, things started changing and everything started getting a bit bitchy and whatever else out there. And then it started getting quite nasty, and then people I got banned on Facebook a couple of times for saying nothing to do with COVID, actually, calling one of my friends what I call her. And then I think I used the word predatory dyke once, referring to myself. And that got me a ban. Well, since that ban, most of my posts, I definitely know I'm not getting shared as much as normal. Now, most of my friends who speak to me regularly see my posts, but it's difficult because most people avoid what I say truth-wise. I don't know what traffic I'm getting. So I'll post 2 or 3 things and one person will comment and one person will like it, for argument's sake. But 50 people could have read it and I don't know because there's no view counter like there is in YouTube. So in YouTube, you might only get 8 likes out of a 500 watch video, but 500 people at least watched it, so you feel like you've got a purpose. You're speaking to an audience. But Facebook doesn't give you that interaction back. So what's happened is because of COVID and everyone being locked down and not being mingling like they are, a lot of people, I nearly fell into it for about a month, think, oh, no one likes my post, no one's watching it, I'm unpopular. As in, no one likes you. So it makes you feel like that because of the way it's set up. And the fact that everyone was all sort of closed into this COVID kind of situation, lots and lots of youngsters, you know, must be super enhancedly felt like that, because lots of people feel like that on Facebook without a pandemic. Well, we're not really in a pandemic, are we? But, you know, if it made me feel like that briefly, it made me feel like I was... Maybe I should shut up talking, maybe I should stop going on, maybe people are sick and tired of hearing what I have to say, maybe people think I'm a pain in the arse, maybe people think I'm a drama queen, maybe people think I am nuts, maybe people just tolerate me because it's easier. It makes you question, you might start thinking, oh, what's wrong with me? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? And it does make you feel like that. Genuinely does. It got me for a little while, especially over the winter months. I was in a bit of a fucking state for a while. I'm not now because I fucking rose above it and I don't really care anymore. You know, I'm learning to not be so nice and learning to not care what other people think more. Not that I really care what people think drastically. Obviously, everyone cares what people think to some extent. Otherwise, people would step outside the box, wouldn't they? I obviously don't care what people think too much because I step outside the box. I wear my hair in stupid ways. I wear clothes most people won't wear. I say things that most people won't say. And I don't, you know, but, oh, you've got the balls to do that. I mean, I've got the balls to do that. Everyone's got the balls to do that. Just man the fuck up. You know, be passionate about certain things. You know, one thing I really fucking can't stand. I can't stand bullies. I hate them. Passionately hate bullies. And I will not tolerate it. If you're bullying someone and I see it, I will say something. You know, most people will walk by and bow their heads. Because, you know, they're concerned that the person might act or be a certain way. I can't sit there and just tolerate it. You've got no right to be like that to people. Anyway, digress to the actual point. Due to the fact that, in my opinion, a huge portion of the population are under some form of hypnosis. Some people aren't. Well, quite a big quarter of the population are too scared to step outside the box, and I don't understand why. You know, so you're accepting being bullied by, you know, massive corporations. I wrote a song for you. Well, I actually write the words. My friend Mark wrote the words. It's called Corporations Own the Nations. We bought them with the money from our donations. Now, if you actually listen to the words, it's 100% correct. But unfortunately, because all these corporations sponsor the media companies and they sponsor the, you know, television programs and they sponsor the food companies, most of them own the food companies. You know, if you've got a, I'm not saying that individual people are corrupt, but government, you know, corporations are. Corporations' only agenda is to make profit and grow. It's its only agenda. Do you think the corporation cares whether it kills people on the way? Do you think it cares whether, as long as they're getting more and more customers and making more and more money, they couldn't give a fuck about the other consequences. They couldn't care about the animals. They couldn't care less about the planet. They couldn't care less about the person taking the product. As long as people buy it and consume it, that's all they care about. You know, and unfortunately, it's got to the point that a human life is a commodity. It isn't valid anymore. It's not valid by corporations. Not valid by corporations at all. And government give this false pretext that they actually care about people's welfare. They don't care about people's welfare. All they care about is money, power, and supporting the people who pay their wages. You know, a lot of people's only objective in life is money. I've never ever been like that. You know, I have lots of things. I have, you know, a car and you have a house and you have these different things that you have. You know, like I've got an iMac because I like, and I've got a decent camera because I like taking pictures. But if I didn't have those things, I'd make do with other things. You know, it doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be the latest this. I'm just not interested in things. You know, people go, oh yeah, but I just need the money. What do you need the money? I need enough money to pay my bills. And maybe put a little bit away for a rainy day. I'm not interested. I'm really fucking not interested. And maybe I'm just, I don't know, money. I just associate money. If you want money, it's almost somewhere. The more I have, the less someone else has got. That may be why I'm vegan, because I don't care what people eat. I don't care if you eat meat or not. That's your opinion, and it's up to you. I'm not going to judge you on that. But if you want my actual opinion, I'll tell you my opinion is, if you can't look an animal in its eyes and kill it yourself, in my opinion, if you eat it, you're a hypocrite. That's the end of it. It doesn't mean that I think any less of you, but in my opinion, you're a hypocrite. Now, if you can't accept that, then, and you feel that you are a hypocrite because of what I've said, then change that. That's, I have morals, and I have certain things in life that I just can't not do, and that includes, I don't feel I've got the right, if I can't look an animal in its eyes and kill it, then why the fuck am I eating it? Unfortunately, we've been brought up with meat all of our lives, since we was young, so you can't, it's very, very difficult to judge what people do in that sense, right? If you had a choice from a young age and was told where animals come from and you still chose to eat meat, then in a way you are a hypocrite, even more so. But, you can go too far, like some vegans go, well, you can't be an animal lover if you eat meat. Well, of course you can be a fucking animal lover if you eat meat. You're just a hypocrite. That's really it. It doesn't make you a nasty person. We're all hypocrites at some point in our life, but there's certain things I can't live with. And it got to the point where I was eating meat, and I felt guilty about eating this meat. And I was like, oh, put this poor animal. I just felt guilty. So I thought, I'm not going to be a hypocrite anymore. I'm going to take responsibility for my actions and stop doing that. And that's me. I'm not going to force that onto you or tell you you have to do that. My missus eats meat. Admittedly, I don't cook it for her, but if we lived in the same house, I'd have to, wouldn't I? Oh, I suppose I wouldn't have to, but I wouldn't, I'm not, it's like, you have a barbecue, you put a bit of meat next to my fucking vegan burger, I couldn't give a fuck. That's what you want to do. Unfortunately, we're not all that liberal-minded, all this, oh, I'm liberal, but you can't do that. Hold on. Pure freedom is being able to say, I don't like that type of person. Nah. It's when you do it with hate, and cause it cause discontent in the sense that you're actually hating on someone and being really, really horrible to them. You can have an opinion about it. We're all allowed an opinion. Sometimes you need to be negative in order to be constructive. It's like with all these people who are, you always have to be positive. You can't always be positive. It's absolutely impossible to always be positive. You can always find a positive from a negative, but sometimes you have to be negative in order to be constructive, because if you're not negative, you never have a new idea. So sometimes you have to have things go wrong and things become negative. This is a shit situation. So you make a positive situation out of it. A positive situation can also turn negative. But you need that balance. That's the key. Balance. Moderation. It seems like the world at the moment is becoming very, very conquer and divided. And their shock doctrine treatment and their conquer and divide is working lovely, because once they conquer and divide us, it's really, really difficult to round us up and control us. Now, I'm not saying change your opinion. I'm just saying have other consideration for other people. You can't turn around and say, you can do this and you can't do that, because it's just ridiculous. This whole vaccine passport thing. I get it for going on a plane. It's easier to just go and let someone in, right? Without showing them a negative test or whatever else. But having a vaccine does not stop you from spreading it or getting it. So it's kind of fucking irrelevant. It don't make no difference. I can come into your premises. I might not die if I get COVID in the time that I'm in this premises. Oh, I'm not vaccinated. I might get COVID and die. But I can still give it to you and give it to you and you can give it to me. And it's nonsense. Engage your brain. Stop and think to yourself and say, well, hold on. It makes no difference if you're vaccinated and I'm not. Because if that was the case, right, every year vulnerable people get offered the flu vaccine, don't they? Yeah? you know, if you've got a heart condition or you've had cancer or whatever, every year at the Barat, because my work colleague gets offered it, she gets offered the flu vaccine every year. Now, the flu can kill you, and the flu is highly contagious, right? So why hasn't every year people who've been offered flu vaccine, why has the whole family not been offered the flu vaccine then to protect them? If that's how vaccines work. And also, why are they cohorting youngsters and offering them bribery money and takeaways and lots of other bribes to take a vaccine? The moment your government starts bribing you, alarm bells on the biggest level should be going off. It should be ringing on a... You're bribing people to take something. What's that tell you? I actually sometimes think I've stepped into a different dimension. Woke up and I'm like on a different planet. I'm like, oh, did everything change while I was asleep? I'm just glad that I'm finding more and more people are actually thinking the same as me, and people I wouldn't necessarily expect. But as time goes on, there's more and more people going, yeah. And they're coming out. So I'm hoping that people are getting more and more confident of the fact that they can say something now, because they realise that what we've been saying all along does have some truth to it. I want to stop nagging now. So just be nice. Yeah? That's what start being nice. Can people just be nice? Yeah. Peace, love and light.